Hi everyone and welcome back. Now in today's video we are going to discuss about Amazon MQ. Now before we go ahead and look into the advantages that MQ provides, let's look into our current stage of learning. Based on what we know, we'll go ahead and discuss further. Now one of the services that we know is SQS. Now SQS stands for Simple Queuing Service. So at an overview, it does provide great set of functionality, but when we compare it with various other message brokers, the set of functionalities are still limited. Now in the industry, there are various message broker services that are available which are very popular. For example, you have Apache ActiveMQ and it provides great set of features, and these set of message brokers are used extensively in the on-premise set of organizations. Now, one of the challenges that organizations generally face when they migrate to cloud, for example, let's say an organization is actively using the ActiveMQ service as the message broker for their application and they want to move to cloud. Now in cloud you have SQS. Now SQS and ActiveMQ, if there is a migration that needs to take place, then the application code will also need to be rewritten. And this is something that organizations want to avoid at the initial stage. So if you're using messaging with existing application and want to move the messaging to the cloud quickly and easily, then you can consider the Amazon MQ. For example, this can be seen in the diagram where you have the Amazon MQ service, which is the message broker, and it allows us to create the ActiveMQ or RabbitMQ message broker. Behind the scenes, it will go ahead and create a set of EC2 instance. It can be single EC2 or in a multi-AZ environment. And that EC2 instance will have these message brokers configured, and then you'll be able to connect your application to the appropriate message brokers. So let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and quickly look into it from a demo perspective. Now for today's video in the Amazon MQ, I already have the broker configured, and if you look into the broker engine here, it is based on the Apache ActiveMQ. Now if you look into the deployment mode, it is a single instance broker. And the instance type here is based on t3.micro. So let's quickly open this up, and within here you will generally see the URL through which you can connect to the ActiveMQ web console. So let's go ahead and quickly open this up. At this stage, you can go ahead and quickly manage the broker. Now, if you look into the ActiveMQ, it consists of features that are in combination with the features that you will see in SQS, SNS. For example, you have the queues, you have the topics here, you have the subscribers and so on. So let's go to the queues, and in fact, you can go ahead and create a queue also. Let me just again note that this is just a demo video where we just want to understand the basics of the MQ service. Now in the MQ, let's quickly create a queue. So our queue is created. Now in the queue, you see there are no messages. In case if you would like to send a message, let's also try it out. Within here, I'll say hello world. And there are a lot of configuration options that you can add over here in the message. We'll keep it simple and we'll go ahead and send the message. Now at this stage, you see number of pending messages 1. If I'll quickly open the queue here, you'll see the message ID. If I'll open this up, you will see the hello world. Alright, so I hope at a high level overview you understood what MQ is trying to achieve. Now in case if you know the basics of SQS, SNS, understanding the basics of ActiveMQ will be much more simpler. Now before we conclude, few important pointers to note. First one is that in case if you are building a brand new applications in the cloud, then AWS recommend that you make use of the SQS and SNS instead of the MQ. Second is that Amazon SQS and SNS are lightweight, fully managed message queue service and topic services that can scale almost infinitely and provide simple, easy to use APIs. Now, when we discuss about Amazon MQ, it does not scale infinitely. You'll have to specify the instance type, you'll have to specify various other configurations, and based on that, the maximum number of messages will be supported. But it can happen that things are slowing down at a MQ level as well. So this is the reason why it is recommended to use the managed services where you do not really have to worry about the scaling, high availability and other such issues. Now also note that whenever you go ahead and create MQ, there are multiple set of options available. You can create a single instance, you can create an instance based on active and standby and so on. Now generally for high availability, active standby mode is one of the recommended ones. And this can also be seen in the diagram where in one of the availability zone 2A, you have the active MQ broker, and in 2B, you have the standby MQ broker, and both of them are connected to a shared EFS volume where the data is returned to. In case if the active broker goes down, client can go ahead and connect to the standby broker, and this is how the high availability is maintained. Now let me also quickly show you on where exactly you can see this. For example, whenever you create a MQ, you will generally see the broker engine. You have the ActiveMQ and RabbitMQ. Let's select ActiveMQ here. Now within here you get the deployment mode. You have a single instance broker. You also have an active standby broker. As we're discussing, single instance is launched in a single availability zone. If that AZ goes down, then your MQ is also down. And this is the reason why in the production environment, you have to select the active standby broker, which is the recommended one. Along with that, you also get to select what is the instance type associated with your broker. In case if you select a lower instance type, then it might not be able to support lot of messages and things will slow down. And this is the reason why, as we're discussing, that it is not infinitely scalable when compared to the SQS and SNS. Alright, so I hope with this you understood the basics of MQ, and with this we'll conclude today's video.